The Harvest.
Good afternoon, Africa. This is Imene Nouad. Tensions continue to rise in the Middle East following military escalations between the United States, the Zionist entity, and Iran. The United Nations in New York, Secretary General Antonio Guterres told the Security Council there is no alternative to a peaceful solution to prevent the conflict from spreading further. Algeria, Tunisia, and other African nations call for calm and dialogue, while Russia and China urge a return to diplomacy. The crisis also impacting global markets. In South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa calls for an immediate ceasefire in the Middle East during unveiling of statues of Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo in eThekwini. He reaffirms their legacy as champions of peace and urges respect for the United Nations Charter. We will hear this little part of his statement.
Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo were men of peace, much as they took up arms to fight against an evil system. They sought to resolve conflict through dialogue. Even as they were steeped in the armed struggle, their aim was always, we engaging in this so that dialogue can begin. These men of peace would have been gravely concerned by the conflict underway in the Middle East today. They would have called on the United Nations Charter to be respected and upheld. They would have joined us in calling for an immediate ceasefire and for the conflict to be resolved through meaningful and earnest negotiations.
In Libya, Prime Minister Abdelhamid Biba announces the government reshuffle. Mohamed Al-Qaryu is appointed Minister of Education, while Salim Al-Alam takes over the culture portfolio. In Algiers, Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research Kamal Badari, alongside Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs and African Affairs Salma Bakhta Mansouri, launches the first Education of the African University Theatre event. Diplomatic representative attended the ceremony, including Vusumuzi Ntunga, Zimbabwe's ambassador to Algeria, who shares more with Asma Boulawad on this.
Zimbabwe has benefited a lot from Algeria's support in the field of higher education. We have over 400 students studying here in over 18 universities, and we value that cooperation because these students are studying in fields that are very important to our economies: medicine, pharmacy, dentistry, engineering, aeronautical engineering. All those are very important fields in our country and in our economic development. And this initiative now of collaboration through African theatre will no doubt enhance that cooperation. And we want to see an exchange of students between Algeria and Zimbabwe, an exchange of professors, an exchange of researchers to expand this cooperation. And now that we have this initiative on theatre, we also hope to see Algerian theatre groups travel to the south of the continent and to enrich our culture as Africans.
In economic news, the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Ilayemi Cardoso, announces a sharp rise in the country's net foreign exchange reserves. The reserves increased by 772% over the last 2 years, reaching $34.8 billion by December 2025. Widad Alawa is here with us in the studio to tell us more on this. Hello, Widad.
Hello, Iman.
Widad, this major increase in reserves indicates a good strategy behind it. What can you tell us on this topic?
Yes, Iman, Nigeria's external reserves records a remarkable economic turnaround, according to Olayemi Cardoso, governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. He also highlights that Nigeria's external financial position has significantly improved, with the 2025 net reserves already exceeding the total gross reserves of $33.22 billion at the end of 2023. He also attributes the improvement to greater transparency and credibility and foreign exchange management, noting that these reforms have boosted investor confidence and attracted stronger FX inflows and improved the liquidity and long-term economic sustainability in Nigeria. The CBN remains committed to maintaining adequate reserve buffers, ensuring orderly foreign exchange market operation, and reinforcing confidence in Nigeria's external position. Back to you, Iman.
Thank you, Widad. Today marks World Wildlife Day. The occasion raises awareness about protecting wild animals and plants, preserving biodiversity for future generations, especially in Africa. And concluding with the sport news, the Algerian women national football team defeats Egyptian team 3-2 in a friendly match in Cairo. The game is part of preparations for the upcoming competitions. This is all we got for the Harvest today. Thank you for paying attention to The Fullest. Was directed by Muad Dabab Ahmed. Control board with Khalid, streaming with the Riyadh. And you, dear listeners, don't move too far and keep tuning to Ifriqiya FM as we switch to Taman Rasit Stadium.